Well, hello again, race fans, and welcome to Season 15, Round number 9, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And nothing has changed here in the broadcasting world, except that for some reason coming in today, the wrong microphone device was set up for, like I said, I've not changed anything, just came in and started talking, and the VUs decided to go flat. So there we go. We are underway here on qualifying. As you can see, Dominic Hart taking pole position here for today's race thus far. Still a couple of really great drivers to come. We have not yet seen David Stritt put in his final lap. Can he do it and take pole position for today's race? With his second lap, he does not. He actually only climbs to 6th fastest. So Hart ending up the fastest of the drivers, the fastest drivers who you would expect to potentially take that pole position, but still some more fast drivers to come. Here's Dan Ensch, currently working on his second lap. Will he be able to take pole position for today's race? That would be quite phenomenal for the End ALZ driver. And he does not take first, but he'll take fourth. And I think that's going to be more than satisfactory to Dan, who's not necessarily known for his qualifying efforts, but at the same time is very well known for his short track racing capabilities. So once again, so great to have you with us. Apologize for the audio technical difficulties there at the beginning. You can see also SDK choosing not to display a logo up in the upper left-hand corner. Literally, nothing has changed since Tuesday. I did a broadcast, and I step in, and you have technical issues. But that's the way that the world works. You know, it's as I've said before. My father, Fred Greenfield, world's greatest race car driver, he once told me a 10-cent part can cost you $1 million championship, and it's absolutely true. He had a Zeus fastener pop open on his hood at Ontario Motor Speedway in a race with Formula Ford's 100 entrants in those days, and exactly same thing here. You know, you come in, you check your VUs, everything looks fine, and then something catches you. So here we go. We're getting ready to get in our, well, we've gotten in our qualifying, and now we're just about to get ready to grid up for today's race. Once again, this is VirtualRacing.Network, so great to have you with us as we are set for 150 laps of action around the famed New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Loudon, as it's known to all of those of you who are NASCAR fans. As the drivers start to grid up, we'll go ahead and get that grid up on the screen for you so you can see who's going to be starting where. Well, I would say it's a shock pole position. It's Dominic Hart taking pole position here. Now, we've seen how fast he can be. There's no question about that. Taken pole positions before, but, I mean, just the fact that he's managed to overtake Graham Bunyan at a track where Graham is very, very fast, that is quite an effort in itself. So will he be able to defend that pole position today? That is what we will be able to tune in and find out here on VirtualRacing.Network. Dominic Hart going to be leading Graham Bunyan on the first row. Second row is going to go to Ryan Bowles starting in third. We'll get to the points here in a few minutes. Ryan Bowles still sitting in a good position to be able to do something great with those points in this championship. Dan Ensch going to be starting in fourth position, racing with that ALZ.org Last Lap Motorsports machine. And Jason Lowe going to be starting in the Chrome machine alongside there. I'm sorry, in the third row. Alongside him will be Jimmy Drennan. Then David Stritt, definitely one of the favorites for this race. David Worrell, great start in 8th place. Rick Lovison, he's starting in 9th. Next to Stefan Harding. Richard Kelbaugh, Mr. Stickwick, going to be starting on the 5th row, and he'll be next to James Kennedy. Continuing your grid, we'll have Will Stern starting next to Mike West. And then it's going to be Manuel Gomez Esteban, who will be starting next to Mauro Ramirez. MJ. Actually, MJ sitting in the pits right now, not able to get out there. So it looks like Iñigo Mardones will take over that position. And so back here, we take a look at the beautiful machine of Dominic Hart. Gone through a couple of changes in livery over the season. So we get ready to go here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Dominic Hart will lead us down to the green flag. And we are getting underway here at Loudon. Dominic Hart on the inside, Graham Bunyan on the outside. And it looks like Bunyan already looking to take advantage and take that position away. He's fighting hard there on that outside position. And he's done it. So move Graham Bunyan up to first position. And that will relegate Hart. Hart is gonna try that outside line. Maybe change some things up now that he got pinned to the inside. So now Hart there on the outside, defending second place from Ryan Bowles. And just behind, it's Jason Lowe, who has managed to get by Dan Ensch there on the start as well. And now you see Ryan Bowles working on that inside line, trying to possibly worry Hart a little bit going into the corner. Bowles taking the low line through the corner there and not quite able to get it done. Let's go ahead and jump on board. Probably one of the easiest ways to see what's going on here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We exit turn 4 on board with Ryan Bowles. Bowles entering turn 1. Keeps it sort of the middle of the track, trying to mitigate some of that push up the track that you would get. So here we are on lap number 5. It's Graham Bunyan leading Dominic Hart and Ryan Bowles. Hart falls to the inside. Must have had a problem coming off of turn number 4. He's really chasing that car up the track, so we'll have to see if the problems continue. But in the meantime, Ryan Bowles actually on quite a tear. We can take a look here at his sector times. His first sector, this last lap was purple sector, meaning it was the fastest of the race thus far, and just the lap before his sector 2 time was also purple, meaning that he was the fastest. And we are under caution here, as it looks like Dan Ensch has had a moment, and there he is spun around, unfortunately. We'll try to get a replay for you here in just one moment. That car's left rear tire is absolutely destroyed, hanging off the car by just the wheel tether, it would seem, and then kind of hobby horsing as it goes down the track. So let's see what happened with Dan. I'm also seeing that Mauro Ramirez might have had an additional issue. I'm not sure why that pointed us. Oh, so here we go. Take a look maybe and see what happened with Dan. Dan comes through the corner in mid-corner and just starts losing the car on exit. And so early in the run, let's see if we can back it up just a little bit here. Now this was a moment before, and possibly this is where Dan starts to have issues. Jump on board a little bit more here. Mid-corner. And the car just starts to walk around, and I would just have to say maybe that's being a little low on the track. for the exit, possibly putting a little bit too much on that right rear tire. But either way, under caution here for the first time today. And once again, just starting lap number 10, we do have Mike West and Iñigo Mardones in the pits. Now, tires will play a role here today, that's for sure. I'm hearing that there's about a half a second of fall off from the beginning to the end of the stint, so possibly new tires will play a role, and we'll have to see if Mardones can manage to come forward and or Mike West come forward. Now, take a look at this. This is Mauro Ramirez, and Mauro coming to almost a complete stop there to wait for the Dan Ensch machine. Go back to the live picture, and Graham Bunyan. The lights are still on the pace car, so that means that go ahead and show you very valuable information here. You can clear the runway, so to speak, for it. And that is Season 15 standings. You can see it right there on your screen. Graham Bunyan taking over the points lead last week and continuing that march forward. You can see 8 starts, 3 wins this season. If that number actually accurate, perhaps that column did not get updated, but it does seem to be right. So now that I look at the actual points, indeed it is right. 3 wins for Graham Bunyan. It's been up in the air. Graham has had a couple of technical issues to start the season, a couple of other drivers having technical issues, this being virtual racing. That's par for the course. Sometimes sim rigs and computers and headsets, etc., don't quite work the way they're supposed to. But nevertheless, it's still super tight points battled there, and you see those bonus points out at the end really paying off for Graham Bunyan. 23 points to just 9 for Jason Lowe. And right now, though, that battle there for third place, really hot. Just 1 point separating Strid from Ensch. You look on back through the field, number of drivers, pretty surprising to see that they have climbed so far. In fact, one of those, Mr. Stickwick, Richard Kelbaugh right there, currently holding on to 6th place. He's climbed 2 spots this last week. So, great racing from him, and a great chance at potentially a top 5 here in the championship. Just a few more races remaining. Just 3 more after this one for Season 15. In the meantime, Graham Bunyan in control. Ryan Bowles just behind. Dominic Hart in 3rd. That's your starting order. Take a look a little bit further back. This is James Kennedy and Stefan Harding racing for 9th place. Kennedy in that white and blue Sparco machine, frequently kind of changing up that livery and giving us some different looks. There's Stefan Harding making that challenge there through the corner and holding down the position. Sorry, and just up in front, that is David Strid and David Worrell, who are currently racing there for 6th place. If I look back up in front, Mr. Purple Sector there in 3rd place. That's Dominic Hart. He's last time by, fastest man of the race thus far. So keep an eye on Hart. Sits in 3rd. He is very fast around New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but right now the story is back up in front and the race between Graham Bunyan and Ryan Bowles. Currently just separated by a couple of car lengths. And it looks like Bowles taking up the David Strid position of running right there with Graham Bunyan. And now the question is Bowles going to give a challenge to Bunyan, or will he just wait it out? So once again, great to have you with us. I'm Trevor Greenfield. I'm with you since Season 10, and we're continuing all the way here on Season 15. Make sure to subscribe over on YouTube. Hit that big red button, and you'll get all of the future U.S. IndyCar, soon to be renamed International IndyCar League races delivered right there on your YouTube home screen. You'll get notified of our upcoming races. Make sure to like this video as well, and you'll get more of our races featured in your feed. But this is a very tight battle happening right here. We're just starting on lap 20 here. Graham Bunyan, Ryan Bowles, Dominic Hart, 1, 2, 3. It's looking like anybody's race. Once again here at Loudon, as it is known to all of you NASCAR fans. IndyCar racing here one year, and if I go back to that original time in 2011, the track race lap record was set at 22 seconds, .3481 by Scott Dixon in the IR-05. Now, the drivers are currently turning, 22-second laps. So, I mean, if I can just see who has set the best lap yet, it does appear as though it is Dominic Hart who set that 22.43. So we are really not that far off. Just about a 10th off of the lap record set back in 2011. So if you can believe it, I guess that just tells you how realistic iRacing really is. But here we are with this three-way battle happening for first, and it looks like Dominic Hart may have a chance here. It's going to look now back to the outside on Ryan Bowles. No good, but it looked like he had a moment there where he might have been able to make that challenge, and now Bowles kind of getting close again to Graham Bunyan. So these three perhaps playing it out and letting their tires degrade, or letting the opportunity arise where drivers in front might have their tires degrade. We'll take a look a little bit further back here. This is Jimmy Drennan. He's up 2 spots so far today, climbing up into the 4th spot. David Strid, usually we're used to seeing him right behind Graham Bunyan. Didn't quite get the qualifying effort that he normally does. And so he's gained 2 spots from where he started in 7th place. But currently, he's still got a ways to go to get up to that front group. Jason Lowe, one of the championship contenders, currently in 2nd place. He held the championship for the championship lead for quite a while this season. He did lose a spot on that start, but that doesn't mean that it isn't intentional and that he isn't just conserving some tires here. We see a side-by-side battle happening for 7th place. This is David Worrell, Dave in the Cave, and we just see a moment behind between Stefan Harding and James Kennedy. It looks like Harding tried to make the crossover move. Let's see if we can back that up and take a look here on your screen. This is Bowles, and then Harding kind of pulls across, and now we have a yellow flag. That is due to Kennedy, I believe, who has already put it back into the pit. So let's see if we can play that one out from the very beginning. Back this one up. We'll watch some of this battling that happened here, and then right there, he had nowhere to go. Kennedy, as Harding, I guess, got loose in front of him and pulled it down to the inside. And there Kennedy gets up into the wall, pulls it down low. You see Mr. Stickwick getting by there on the track in the green and black machine. And just the fact that Kennedy had to pull it down low there onto next to the pit lane, that unfortunately We're now seeing a lot of these drivers coming into the pits from the lead. So this is Graham Bunyan, Ryan Bowles, Dominic Hart, Jimmy Drennan, David Strid, Will Stearns, David Wells. Most of the field here, with the exception of Jason Lowe and Mike West, who are making their ways into the pits. So a lot of fast-moving action, as you can imagine, on a 1 mile oval with these, what did they call it once? A jet fighter in a gymnasium. Kind of like that here, under our second caution of the day. We wait for these drivers to emerge back into the field, and that'll give us a good chance to go ahead and focus on the driver that is holding down 6th place in the championship and doing a great job of it. Been having some fantastic runs here in the league, and well, let's go ahead and talk about that sponsor that's on the side pod. Well, I mean, it's got a great name, but is the product great? Well, you see proof of it right there on your screen. You have these wrenches, you have all these different tools in your kitchen. You've got all of your utensils that you want to be able to keep handy, your knives, who knows what else. In your medicine cabinet, you've got nail polish removers, all kinds of stuff. Why just use shelves? Use the cabinet itself to do your organization. It goes on and on. So what is the Stick Quick? Well, it's not magic. It's magnetic. And it's also heavy duty, chemical and UV resistant silicone. And it's made with rare earth magnets that whenever you get something inside of a Stick Quick, you can then just stick it quick to anything, and that's the beauty of it. If whatever that surface is that you're trying to stick it to is made of steel or will accept a magnetic connection, great. If not, built right in to these packages that you can buy from Stick Quick, they will give you these little sticky pads that you can stick onto any surface, or pretty much any surface, I guess, anything that's not too slippery. They're reusable, and so these little discs you can put, obviously here on this this tool chest, it's made out of steel, so you could stick anything to that that's magnetic. But in addition, if you have, say, a shower and you want to put your razor up in your shower, just like that. Wow, how did I know that was going to come on the screen? There you can do it. And that's how simple it is. You just head on over to stickquick.com. They have 6 different colors that you can choose from, and it should fit your, your racing colors, your school colors, whatever it is that means the most to you. I have green. I race with green. Greenfield is my name. It's strictly coincidental, but that's the package I got. They sent it to me. It's awesome, and I just this holiday season we will be giving away lots of Stick Quicks to our friends and family, and you should do the same. Head over to stickquick.com right now and get your package today. Tell them that you saw the U.S. IndyCar League race right here on VirtualRacing.Network. So Mike West in the lead, back coming to the green flag. Graham Bunyan and Mike West absolutely sitting ducks for those new tires. I'm sorry, getting those new tires on pit road and then leaving Mike West and I guess out there by himself. So he will be a sitting duck when it comes another few more laps and these new tires on Graham Bunyan and Ryan Bowles' machine get up to speed. We are seeing they're in the mix just ahead. That is actually MJ Ramirez, who's in 14th place, and I didn't catch what put him. I mean, he had that incident on the start. I'm not sure if he just joined late and that's why he was so far back. Either way, he's trying to stay ahead of Graham Bunyan, as is Mike West up in front. They're trying to stay ahead so that they can stay on that lead lap. And very, very shortly, we will see Mike West and assuming that MJ stayed out there on those same tires, which, yes, he and Mike West. Okay, so there's your information. We can get this up on the screen for you. You can see Mike West and Iñigo Mardones. And then it's not quite showing back to Mauro Ramirez, but they all stopped on lap 9. So that's why. And there you can see it looks like Mauro choosing to back out of that battle, but that would be why they chose not to come in, is because they had already taken that pit stop and gotten fresh tires much, much earlier than the rest of these drivers. Nevertheless, these fresh tires just starting to come up to speed now. And so here we go, a battle for the lead. Mike West on those original tires from lap number 9 pit stop, now getting overtaken. And Graham Bunyan back up into the lead. So on lap 39, Bunyan resumes at the lead. Once again, welcome to those of you who are watching Formula One and other racing, iRacing, etc. So great to have you here on VirtualRacing.Network. Make sure to hit that big red subscribe button, and you'll get to see all of the U.S. IndyCar League, soon to be the International IndyCar League. And we have Will Stearns now spinning out off of turn 2. Will this bring out a yellow flag? No, it does not, fortunately for us. And he does manage to get back into the pits. Stearns sitting now on pit road with no front wing. And so, unfortunately, that will heavily curtail Stearns' efforts today to be able to get up there into the front. Challenge for a top 5. So now we see that Mike West has now fallen another position back. Ryan Bowles there on the outside. I'm sorry, on the inside. So hard to tell the difference. One's red and black, the other one's black and red. But Ryan Bowles on the inside, Mike West on the outside. We've got side-by-side racing, and West reemerges at the front. On board with West's machine, looking back at Ryan Bowles. West out of Yakima, Washington. And unfortunately, we have had another incident. It's Iñigo Mardones and Rick Lovison who have had an incident on track. Go ahead and jump back to that, and perhaps we can tell exactly what happened here. Go over to Lovison. Lovison really is far back from Mardones, so I'm going to guess this incident actually starts up here with Mardones. Mardones on the inside of Dave Worrell. Mardones losing it halfway through the corner, and Rick Lovison sadly caught up right in that mess. We can take one more look at it there. See if we can tell from Rick Lovison's point of view. This was those last moments when that car was still in one piece. Coming through turn 4, and just as I said, absolutely no place to go, and right into the side of Iñigo Mardones. So that actually provides kind of a bit of a good savings there. Getting your butt saved at the right time, if I could say so myself. Mike West, just when he really needed to get those fresh tires, is actually going to put himself on an alternate strategy yet again by coming in just several laps later than some of the other drivers. Now, a couple of other drivers here who exiting the pits. We've got Mike West leading, Jimmy Drennan second, but then we're going to have Jason Lowe third exiting the pits, Stefan Harding, Richard Kelbaugh, Mauro Ramirez. And so it looks like MJ Ramirez and Dan Ensch will go down that lap. Unfortunately, they will fall down that lap, but it does, I mean, considering that Ensch had that accident and damaged the car, I mean, it's actually not so bad to be a lap down, if I'm being quite honest with you. I mean, you still got a fighting chance being just one lap down. So as the lights are off on the pace car, we've got one more time around. Once again, welcome to all of you who were enjoying Formula One and other iRacing. So great to see all of you over here. Feel free to say hello in chat, and I will mention you on broadcast, presuming what you have to say is somewhat family-oriented, because, hey, this is kind of a family broadcast. You know, we try to keep it clean here. Apologize for the bots that sometimes sneak into chat. But YouTube still dealing with figuring out how to keep those ugly things out of the YouTube chat rooms. Nevertheless, US IndyCar League right here, VirtualRacing.Network. And so great to be here at a different track that, you know, IndyCar doesn't visit. Came here in 2011. There was a big effort at the real life New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Big effort to bring in open wheel racing again, and they thought IndyCar would be the best way to do that. And unfortunately, kind of weird things going on behind the scenes, and that really damaged the reputation of IndyCar being here at this facility. And so unfortunately, that put the end on IndyCar being here at New Hampshire very, very quickly. And so I don't know if the tempers have settled since, but perhaps, maybe, this could be another facility that IndyCar returns to in real life again. Goodness knows we need more short ovals. If you saw Iowa, there was lots of great racing in Iowa, and seems to be a track where the aero push and the aero situation on these cars does not make as much of a difference with that big windscreen out front. Graham Bunyan going to lead us back to green flag here, lap 47. They're back underway. Absolutely no change at the front as Graham Bunyan and Ryan Bowles get a massive start. And Dominic Hart finds himself in third again, right back at the front. So once again, another driver you absolutely can't count out. How about David Worrell? Absolutely finding a way up into the top 5, now currently sitting there in 4th place. Manuel Gomez Esteban also doing a fantastic job getting himself up into the top 5. He's climbed 10 positions today. Spaniard Racing with Team Mazinger. And he does still have the Super Mango sponsorship on there. I can see it on the front wing. For those of you who are Manuel Gomez Esteban fans in the field, and his very colorful machine, having a great day, running up in 5th spot. So we'll keep an eye on that. Jimmy Drennan in 6th place, where he started. Jason Lowe still hasn't managed to make too much of a difference climbing forward here today, but still early going, running in 7th place. So we take a look a little bit further back. This is Mr. Stickwick, Richard Kelbaugh, under attack. David Strid just behind in the Jimmy Johnson machine, and now side by side as we roll down the front straight. Who will it be? Strid on the inside, Kelbaugh fighting hard on the outside, but Kelbaugh decides, I think I'll just let him through. Strid pretty much knows what he's doing, not too much worth fighting him. In the meantime, Graham Bunyan still getting it done, and tell you what, it's just fallen off the screen because the new fastest Sector 2 time was just set last lap by Graham Bunyan, and now this last lap, Dominic Hart taking the fastest Sector 2 time. Just as I say that, guess who's taking it back? It's Graham Bunyan. So these drivers trading laps here that are extremely fast as they get well underway with these new tires off of that fresh set of pit stops. So lap 54, now coming on to lap 55. And it looks like Hart might give another challenge to Bowles up in front. Hart drifts to the outside on exit of turn 4. He could have a look down the inside. Here he goes. So look out the right front. What he would be seeing over his mirror. Turns his attention back over that long nose of the Dallara IR-18. Starts sizing up Ryan Bowles for another attempt. It's a better view of exactly what Ryan would be seeing, or what Dominic would be seeing. Heading into the corner, trying to figure out your strategy. Do you want to go high and get that run off the corner? Yes, he does. Bowles defends the inside, down low. Hart can't quite get that run off of the corner. You see Bowles going up high that time. Hart decides to dig in low coming off of turn 2. Now Hart giving it a big effort, going up very high. Will he get enough of a run on Bowles this time to make the pass? He's certainly alongside. They go side by side through the corner. Hart moves up a little bit, but just can't quite snag that position. One heck of a battle happening here for second place on the track. Hart giving it certainly his all. And Ryan Bowles doing everything he can to defend second place. This is one of Ryan's best runs of this season. And of course, Ryan taking victory earlier and still right up there in the points. If he can finish out this season, there is an excellent chance he'll not only finish in the top 5, he could, with his pace and what he's showing here today, I mean, there's every chance that he might climb up into that top 3 group. Especially if we take a look back here at 6th place. He's still holding on, folks. For those of you down, maybe Floridian fans down there, well, we don't have Howard Livingston out there on the track today. Unfortunately, still recovering from that foot injury that he had earlier. But we do have Jason Lowe in the field, and he's trying to hold it down for Floridians racing for the Rescue Ranch. Chrissy and Ryan Newman's facility in North Carolina. Always bringing some more awareness to a cause that means a great deal to Jason. Of course, those of you who have been following the story, Jason himself kind of operating a little rescue facility there at his own home for some animals that need some love, and one of them being Jeep the kitty, who was found inside of a customer's Jeep somehow. Just this little kitten that crawled up into the suspension, and now lives with Jason. I tell you, it was a little bit of a transition period, as those of you who have dealt with rescues know, can be a little bit of a transition period. But Jeep now finding a permanent home and loving every minute of it. Hopefully not climbing up on Jason Lowe's lap too much while he's racing. Look here at David Worrell, who's in 4th place. Gained 4 spots today, started in 8th. He's known as Dave in the Cave. And racing with that colorful livery on there. Always great to see Dave out there. And this is one of his better races that we've covered here on VirtualRacing.Network. So still not even close to halfway done with this one. Still a long ways to hang on, but David having a good one so far. We look back at Stefan Harding. Now, he did get a little bit further up there and was challenging with Richard Kelbaugh. He had a moment where, unfortunately, James Kennedy was trying to follow behind, and just the nature of how fast things happen, came down the track a little bit, and Kennedy tagged him with his front wing, and that took Kennedy out. Currently, Kennedy not in the race, parked alongside the road. But Stefan continues and is in 10th place. I mean, it's hard to like blame somebody in particular for that. It just looked like Stefan got a little loose coming off of the corner. Yeah, thank you for the subscribe, whoever just subscribed. Bless you. And welcome to the VirtualRacing.Network family as we continue our wonky coverage of the U.S. IndyCar League. You're watching live. So here's Dan Ensch, who's in 11th place. Dropped 7 positions from today. Of course, he had that moment earlier that we saw on screen, and that's not like Dan. He doesn't usually get loose mid-corner like that, but it's easy to do. You're on a mile oval. I would love to know from Dan exactly what happened. I'm not sure, but it seemed as though it was a little bit too tight of a turning radius coming off the corner. Either way, that's how easy it is to get it wrong. And for this driver that has been fighting for a top 5, maybe even a top 3 in the championship the whole season, the small mistakes being the ones that can absolutely take you out of the race and possibly out of the championships, you know, as much as Dan doesn't make mistakes like that, everybody occasionally does get it just a little sideways or a little wrong, and it's just why you got to keep reevaluating lap after lap after lap. Am I on cold tires? Am I on hot tires? Is it too tight of a turning radius? Should I open up my radius a little bit? Am I feeling the right rear tire starting to go? Do I have the weight jacker turned up too high? All questions you need to kind of evaluate as the whole race continues. But you can see here now, this is racing for 7th place. And Strid, you know, has actually had a lot of difficulty today. He didn't qualify as high as he normally does here in the league. And he's kind of been racing around that 6th, 7th, 8th place. It may just be that he's not as comfortable with the racing style here at New Hampshire. Of course, we see Graham Bunyan every single week. It doesn't matter where we race. Graham seems to be comfortable there, except for he does not like Talladega and Daytona. Doesn't mean that he's not super fast there. It just, that type of racing, not for him. We see Strid now diving down to the inside of Manuel Gomez Esteban and snatching away that 7th place, moving him back into 7th once again. We look a little bit further back here, and this is Dan Ensch, who is currently 1 lap down. So, although he's coming up on the back of Gomez Esteban, he's actually not on the same lap. Gomez Esteban hanging on to that car in 8th place, and Ensch down in 11th. We look a little bit further back, there's MJ Ramirez. Not sure if that's his, you know, we'll have to find out from him. We didn't get an update that he has changed teams, but it is entirely possible. And of course, the VOR League, if I can talk about it for a minute. And also, we now have Manuel Gomez Esteban into the pits, by the way. The VOR League run by Julian Altena, who, for those of you who saw last week's race, and we also have Dave Worrell making pit stop out of the top 5. But for those of you who did see that race last week, Julian Altena taking victory here on VirtualRacing.Network, kind of a one-off effort. Julian running the VOR League as well, and big part of the international racing community here on iRacing. Hopefully we'll be able to get Julian into some more of the races. His capabilities and quality of racing is pretty high level if he can come in here and knock one off and take one away from Graham Bunyan. But nevertheless, Graham now pitting from the lead, and also Ryan Bowles had pitted just the lap before, so he'll get back out there. We'll see if that undercut by Bowles pays off at all. Bunyan perhaps noticing the tire fall off You can tell their last lap time. So Hart now doing 23:18, and now he pulls it into the pits, and of course 22:43, the fastest lap of the race so far. So, you know, just looking at that, I would say that the call by Jason Lowe early on, as we now see Dominic Hart into the pits, as I mentioned, the call by Lowe early on that there's about a half a second fall off on the tires from the beginning to the end is absolutely true. Now, a half a second here at this track is quite substantial. And Jimmy Drennan now a lap up on a lot of the field because he has not yet taken his final pit stop, or his next pit stop. You can see that beautiful Trading Paints livery. Once again, if Jimmy Drennan ever watches these races again, all you got to do is tell me when you change your livery to one that doesn't have a commercial rights policy violation, and we'll get your beautiful livery back on the screen. But Jimmy, with a quite an amazing run here, putting himself up there in the lead on strategy. We'll see whether he can hold out. His last time by was a 22:96. And so now if I'm looking at, actually David Stritt has now climbed up into second. Now looking at Graham Bunyan, 22:51, the time before this last lap. I'm sorry, 22:65 this last lap. And Jimmy Drennan, 23:14, now battling with some traffic on the track. That's also Ryan Bowles, who... if I can understand exactly what's going on here. So, and we've got almost Jimmy Drennan sliding up into Stefan Harding. Multiple drivers on different laps here, so it's a bit confusing. But we do still have Jimmy Drennan in the lead in that black car. Ryan Bowles has already made a pit stop, as you see Drennan kind of getting up high, close to the lap car of Stefan Harding. Actually, I take it back. He's just putting Stefan a lap down with that maneuver. So then up in front, the drivers with newer tires kind of running off into the distance. One of those being Ryan Bowles, who will take over the lead with Graham Bunyan and etc. once Jimmy Drennan, David Stritt, and Richard Kelbaugh all pit. They have yet to do their latest pit stop. So Kelbaugh there in the green and black, fighting with Ryan Bowles. That is for position, and Kelbaugh slowing, kind of letting Bowles go by. Now starting to fall back through the field, perhaps looking just for some space and probably to get into the pits. Those tires may be wearing pretty heavily by now too. So you can see really Kelbaugh taking it easy, coming into the corner, backing it up a little bit. So continuing here, lap number 91 is Jimmy Drennan in the black in the middle of the screen. Number 99 car is already taking some points for leading a lap. Gonna have to do a lot of laps in order to be able to get the point for leading the most laps, but nevertheless, any bonus points help. If you can just get a point for leading a lap in all 12 of the races, that's 12 bonus points. So, I mean, that's a third of a race victory. Or, excuse me, a fifth of a race victory. So, definitely some different strategy calls that you can make throughout the race to try to get yourself there. Now, Jimmy Drennan, last time, 22:90 to Graham Bunyan's 22:63. And Bunyan now 13.8 seconds back from Drennan on the track, so we'll keep track of that one. MJ Ramirez now pitting out of 10th position. He's now currently in 10th position, pitting out of the top 10. And David Strid, you know, I think the track map might be helpful. Why don't we get that up there? You can follow along. Your favorite driver, you'll see their initials there on the screen. So Strid continuing. This is precisely what I'm talking about. Absolutely nothing has changed. There, Jimmy Drennan has pulled it down onto pit lane. Absolutely nothing has changed in terms of our computer that serves this or anything. But now I take a look at the track map. The fonts are wrong. We don't have our logo in the upper left-hand corner. Just a different day, different S, if you know what I'm talking about. But I hope you're enjoying it out there. Anyway, David Strid in the lead here. Teammate and fellow countryman to Graham Bunyan, but Strid is going to have to make that pit stop. Now, the thing that Strid would love to see happen here at some point soon, is we're on lap number 97, would be a caution flag. If a caution flag came out, he could stay in that lead position, come into the pits, get fresh tires, and emerge back in probably 4th or 5th position, depending on what the other drivers decide to do. So that would be what he's hoping for, but whether or not he can manage to pull that one off is anyone's question. Very difficult to do. Here he's going to have to take that green flag stop, pulls it down onto pit lane. Very slow speed here in Loudon. So just about to hit 2/3 of the way done here. Graham Bunyan now taking back over the lead. Ryan Bowles in second. About an 8-second difference between them. Flies under the flag stand. Barney the flag man giving him that green flag, telling him it's 2/3 of the way done for today's race. 100 of 150 laps done, or coming up to be done here. Dominic Hart in 3rd place, 13.4 seconds back, and David Worrell running in 4th place. David Strid emerges. Actually, Jason Lowe's going to take over that position. So Lowe, as Strid comes out on those fresh tires, not able to hold that position. Let's go ahead and take a look. This was the pass just a moment ago. Jason Lowe in the 004 slides right on by. Go back to the live picture. Lowe continuing in now 5th place. That's where he qualified. Going to try to track down the next driver in front, which would be David Worrell, though he'll have to go about 6 seconds up, I think that 5.5 seconds up the track in order to be able to do that. But this is the man who has really seemed to get it done here in the middle stretch of this season after battling some technical issues. He's won 4 championships consecutively in the U.S. IndyCar League, despite some great battles coming from Jason Lowe, David Strid, and recently Dominic Hart, kind of giving Graham Bunyan some occasional fits. But either way, Graham Bunyan coming back together here the last few races and able to get a couple of race victories and start to climb his way back towards that 5th consecutive championship here in the league. And it would be so great if he could take the championship, just from the standpoint of this would be the final one, and without a doubt, Graham Bunyan, the most dominant racer in the history of the U.S. IndyCar League, and certainly as soon as he could devote full-time racing to it, then was able to put down some fast laps and some great races and start snatching those race championships. So here's Mauro Ramirez and Stefan Harding, who had a side-by-side battle for 10th place here just a moment ago. We get a little bit closer. There they were, side by side through the corner. Tight action here in the middle stretch of this race. Looks like it stays the same. Stefan Harding and Mauro Ramirez, they're running just a couple of positions separating them, but back up to the front. It is Graham Bunyan who currently leads by 8.94 seconds over Ryan Bowles. Bowles having a really good run here today, back in kind of championship contention, or I should say championship form. Certainly he's unfortunate for Ryan Bowles because, I mean, you can just see, like, some of us are friends over on Facebook, etc., and his profile photo has got him and his kids. You just imagine anyone who has that family out there knows family comes first, and so there's always stuff to do, always responsibilities, always family things to do, and Ryan having to miss a couple of races, and that will always hurt the championship. There is one drop week that's allowed by these racers as these drivers now working their way around Stefan Harding. But if you miss more than one race, that one drop race is not going to help you out too much. So that is Mauro Ramirez emerging clear of Stefan Harding. The black and blue car, if we can picture on that car, there we go, Mauro Ramirez. And now we have a yellow flag. I haven't caught why. It's possibly Stefan Harding. Not quite sure. Let's see if we can back it up. Possibly Harding that brings this out. I don't see that anyone else has crashed, although he safely made it into the pits. And there we see a very slow Mike West, so that's more likely the issue. Let's see if we can find out what happened there. It was Jason Lowe on the outside. Now, that looks really similar to what happened to Dan Ensch earlier. Just coming off of turn 2, it looks like, if we can back it up so we can actually give you proper diagnosis here. But as he's heading forward, heading into turn 1, following behind Jason Lowe. Lowe takes the high line. West really looks for the pass and just keeping it so low on exit. It's likely a situation where the weight jacker maybe turned up a little high, etc. But that right rear overcooked, and so taking advantage of the caution, Graham Bunyan and second place Ryan Bowles deciding to come in, get their stops done. And this will position them for the end of the race. I'm not really sure why nobody else decided to come into pits. If I take a look here, very interesting. It does give the lead of the race over to Dominic Hart. See Jimmy Drennan there just in front, and a number of drivers just in front who are currently sitting behind the pace car and a lap down. But now we see Hart coming into the pits. We see Jason Lowe coming into the pits. Gomez Esteban and Richard Kelbaugh also into the pits. Kind of interesting stuff here as Bunyan and Bowles now re-emerge at the front. And it looks to me, and I still show Dominic Hart sitting in third place, so we'll wait for all of this to circle around. So, getting back to Dan Ensch's strategy call today, you can really go about 52 laps on a tank. Well, we won't have to worry about that for this final stint. Extremely difficult to pass. In and out of the pits will be key. And we've already seen that pit stops have played a role here today. In fact, just now, most of all, Dan Ensch also now coming into the pit. David Set can actually run low in the corners without swapping ends. But, as we saw, perhaps not as well if you're in the company of other cars, or maybe if you have too much turning radius on the exit of the corner, because we've seen a couple of different drivers get caught out by that. But either way, Dan Ensch, last car here on pit road to take tires before we're going to go green here, I believe, on their next lap, although Graham Bunyan is sure giving a lot of room to that pace car up there. Indeed. So, we will be going green this next time by. Look out the back as the cars get caught up and get ready to go here for our final stint. We watch this from point of view of Barney the flag man. He's got the green flag up in the air. Drivers accelerate and head down towards turn number 1. Graham Bunyan leads us back to the green flag here at Loudon. So it's Bunyan, Bowles, Hart, all three with the fresh tires and the ability to take this race. Hart kind of struggling on those fresh tires there, drifting up high. We'll see whether or not he can manage to get by this lap car up in front, I believe. And they're looking a little bit further back. That's actually Rick Lovison, who's drifted to the back of the track. Unfortunately, we've got Dan Ensch and David Worrell into the wall, making contact with each other, and that will bring out our 5th caution on the day. We can tell what happened there. I could see that Lovison was moving backwards, and I'm not sure if that was in reaction. So let's see here. This was David Strid. This is kind of, there was a lot of chaos happening here. So we're going to take a look at Ensch and see if we can tell exactly where this takes place. So we've got Ensch in the purple car on the left-hand side, purple and white car. Worrell in the blue and white car, and then Strid just behind in the blue Jimmy Johnson car, now coming up on the outside. So we see Ensch going through the corner. I believe this was just coming up to the lap where the incident happened. Strid getting by Worrell, then getting by Ensch. And I'm seeing some more incidents happening here as we're looking. It looks like Worrell gets into Ensch, and that just takes both of them out of the race. So let's go back and see if we can tell. Let's take one more look and see what happened from Worrell's point of view. Over there. This is headed into the corner. And it looks like a little bit of netcode. Worrell kind of got sucked into the back of Ensch in a draft coming into the corner and just didn't quite give it enough of a breather to give Ensch the ability to enter the corner and back off. Kind of looking for the ability to ride up towards the high side on entry, and Ensch just was in the middle of turning. But now this happened. Let's see if we can figure this one out. Now this happened as we were already under yellow, and there you can see Worrell sliding up into the wall. And Jimmy Drennan plows right into the side. That is completely unfortunate. Let's see if we can... it looks like he managed to get around Ensch, who has the stalled car, so that was for 12th place. Now, he's probably wondering what's going on here with Worrell. He tries to drive down to the inside, but just not able to miss that damaged car of Worrell. So, unfortunate circumstances here for those two drivers, and Ensch, you know, just trying to hang on and stay up there in that fight for the lead in this championship, and unfortunate circumstances taking the ALZ.org machine out. He does currently sit there on pit road, but the lights are off on the pace car, so the last time around here, and Ensch is still stuck on pit road, as is Jimmy Trinan. That is going to really hurt them. I think Ensch was already a lap down and now multiple laps down. So just about to get going here again. We'll have about a 25 lap shootout now. Cars on the freshest tires would be David Strid, who came in about 4 laps later than everybody else. Don't know if that'll play a role here, but we'll find out. Here's Ryan Bowles in second place. Graham Bunyan leads us back to the green. We're underway again. Can Bowles actually do it this time? He sure had a lot of looks at the lead earlier when we first opened the broadcast, but not sure. Doesn't look like he's got the pace necessarily to keep up here, but go and jump on board anyway. Ryan Bowles setting in second place, 0.6 seconds back. Looking back now, that's Dominic Hart. Excuse me, Dominic Hart there in the red, black, and silver machine. The Tag Hour sponsorship. I asked him before if he had what used to be the sponsor on there, if he had one of those in real life, and he said, no, I can't afford that. I wonder if he got a Tag Hour. Because those are some pretty cool watches. I'd love to have one of those. Speaking of which, as I put in that plug for his sponsor, might as well mention that the U.S. IndyCar League, soon to be the International IndyCar League, is potentially looking for some business partners as well. If you'd like to see your name right up here on the screen and featured here on the broadcast for VirtualRacing.Network for upcoming seasons, let us know. Link is down in the description as you see David Strid working around Mr. Stickwick, Richard Kelbaugh on the track, but let us know and send us either an email, or you can, if you're part of iRacing, go ahead and go through the link down in the description. You'll get over to the member page on iRacing, and you can either sign up to come out and race against these other drivers, or certainly as we see Manuel Gomez Esteban starting to slide back through the field. He was up into the top 5. Gained 8 spots today. But, just another example of a great driver who comes out just about every single week and gives it his all. If you'd like to be that driver as well, like I said, link is down in the description. If you've done any iRacing, especially if you've done any IndyCar racing, make sure to let Jason Lowe know, and he'll probably welcome you on board. Come out for Saturday practice session and so that you have a pretty good handle on these Indy cars. And then Sunday, 10 o'clock Eastern time, here we are broadcasting, and that could be you out there challenging Graham Bunyan, or more likely finding out how difficult it is to try to challenge the likes of Graham Bunyan, Ryan Bowles, Dominic Hart, David Strid, Jason Lowe, your top 5. And, like I said, there are drivers who can come out here and do it. I've seen, we saw Julian Altena come out this last week. That was a fantastic run by Julian. Not the first time he's done it. We've seen Matt Kingsbury come out, challenge for the race win, and do quite well. A number of drivers have AJ Burton, for example. Those of you who are into iRacing Fixed Series will recognize that name, and also from many of the leagues that have run. But Burton coming out and snagging a couple of victories here in the US IndyCar League over the last couple of seasons. So, yeah, it can be done. But that doesn't mean this guy isn't really, really, really good. And Graham Bunyan, there's a reason why he's won 4 consecutive championships, and why anytime he's out racing in the iRacing IndyCar Fixed Series, it's open to anybody to enter. You know, he's a front runner in the top splits, and that says a lot about the quality of his racing capabilities. And Ryan Bowles here racing in second place, Dominic Hart in third. Bowles has climbed a spot. He's going to be super happy with that second place if he can keep it. Hart, he's lost a spot, or actually lost a couple of spots. He qualified on the pole, but Hart's kind of had some issues keeping the car, pointed forward through the whole race. Not his doing, just getting caught in those little moments of contact, or again, sometimes it is. I remember at Gateway, he took pole position, probably his least favorite race here on VirtualRacing.Network, but this was last season, and had cold tires headed into turn 1, and car just didn't work for him at all, and got swamped for that lead position. Now we've got Jason Lowe into the pits. This is a late pit stop. I don't know. Let's take a look back here and see if we can tell what happened to Jason Lowe. There, he has no front wing. So we did not see that incident reported. Go on board with him. This is through 3 and 4. He rides up high, gets through mid-corner, and then it's just that same... He's trying to diamond the line through the corner, which is a fantastic way to go. There's no doubt about that. That works really, really well at some tracks, especially as the tires start to wear. But I think New Hampshire, there's just something about the exit. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the fact that it's got 2 different surfaces. As you can see there very clearly, 2 different surfaces between the high line and the low line. But there just doesn't seem to be that grip on exit on that low line. And many drivers have tried it here today, but it just hasn't really paid off. So kind of, if I have to say, the more gentle, conservative line here seems to be the one to roll with. Let's take a lap on board with Graham Bunyan, your 4-time consecutive champion, as he takes his Dallara IR-18 around here with just 10 to go. Time by, it'll be 9 to go at the stripe. You see Graham there in the 3rd lane, and you see on exit, he's not trying to hold the bottom. He does let the car drift up, takes a nice wide entry to the corner. Now he's staying in the 4th lane, coming down into the 3rd lane, but letting it drift back up onto the 4th lane, not trying to hold the car too far down into the corner. It's almost like you're riding right, your right sides and then your left sides hit that asphalt change at the high side of the 3rd groove. And I would say that, maybe in real life that wouldn't be as beneficial, because you might feel that difference in the grip. But again, at least here on iRacing, that's how you race it. And certainly you can't question what Graham Bunyan is doing with that car. Managed to absolutely start walking away from the field. Now over a second back to Ryan Bowles. But again, Bowles having a great effort. Up a position here today. Dominic, he's going to be looking at this one, and I think he'll be happy. Hopefully we'll get an interview with him at the end of this race. I think he'll be happy with it. But, you know, it's just one of those things where you qualify in pole position. And now we go back. I'm going to move the camera back here because we've just seen Graham Bunyan slow a little bit on the track. And this lead is now dipped down to 0.8 of a second, so a couple of tenths worn off there. And now this lead just down to 0.5 a second. So with 5 laps to go, possibly, not sure if Bunyan's going to try to frame this one so that he can get his teammate up there right behind him for the eventual photo. But either way, Graham Bunyan, 5 clicks a couple of times ago, 3 clicks now, just 2 to go this time by. And he's going to look to try to pull this one out. Whatever amount that he had slowed there for the moment, I think it's pretty well worn off. Still a 0.5 a second gap there to Ryan Bowles, and nobody else really super close to each other. This will be white flag this time by. There's that white flag coming out from Barney the Flag Man. The last click around, and that lead has dropped down to 0.4 of a second. But I don't think any danger in play here for Graham Bunyan. Even though a couple of drivers, including Ryan Bowles, have made the attempt today, nobody better around New Hampshire Motor Speedway than your victor, Graham Bunyan, who takes race number 9 for the U.S. IndyCar League. So Graham Bunyan, a fantastic drive here today, earning his victory, holding out, able to put in lap after lap after lap and not make that single mistake that so many drivers do seem to have, that little, and you see Ryan Bowles flip it right around and pull it up backwards to the start-finish stripe. Cool stuff here. VirtualRacing.Network's coverage of the U.S. IndyCar League. So as Graham Bunyan celebrates here, we are going to give you your final running order. We can get that to be official and show up for us. Bunyan celebrates with donuts in the background, and I think this is, if I'm being quite honest, I think at this point he's got to know that it's pretty much a downhill run from here to the championship. There was some question for a bunch of races in a row, but with victory here today, I think it kind of begins to cement that championship. We won't call it until it's appropriate, but Bunyan continuing to lay down that dominance here in the U.S. IndyCar League. So Bunyan taking the victory, Bowles in second, Bowles continuing to celebrate here as well. Dominic Hart in 3rd place, David Strid in 4th, MJ Ramirez comes home in 5th. Manuel Gomez Esteban still manages to survive and hold down that 6th position. Congratulations to him. Mike West, he was running really well. Fortunately, he'll end up in the top 10. Unfortunately, it's back in 7th. Stephon Harding, he had a couple of incidents, so I would say he would probably be happy to finish in 8th, though you could say that if he hadn't had those couple of incidents, definitely top 5 looking good for him. Richard Kelbaugh, Mr. Stickwick, solidly mid-pack finish, but holding on to 6th in the championship, and just not finishing outside the top 10 is going to definitely keep him into that top 5 in the championship picture. Jason Lowe, really disappointing 10th place finish here today. Unfortunately, getting caught up in another driver's incident and also having his own incident. Just one of those simple things like we talked about. So easy to do here. Just slightly getting it wrong, exiting a corner, taking a little bit of too high of a drift up the track, and unfortunately that spinning him around and really costing him a lot of time today. Rick Lovison, beautiful paint job. Unfortunately, he also getting caught up in some incidents. Comes back in 11th, Jimmy Brennan. David Worrell and Ensch, super disappointing finish. This is a real head scratcher. Hopefully Dan is, I'm gonna send him a note afterwards and consolation, because this is a difficult one, I'm sure, to swallow. Iñigo Mardones, also rough race today, back in 15th. Will Stearns and James Kennedy will run out to the field. Kennedy, former race winner here, and Mardones also having some great runs, as well as Will Stearns. So really a lot of those drivers there, 14th or 17th. Normally, normally that's like you just go, oh, okay, well, disappointing, I'll move on. But given how well those drivers have been running in recent races, you can probably sense the disappointment from here. So why don't we go ahead and see who we can snag here in our post-interview corral here in Victory Lane. I think Graham Bunyan is still just getting toweled off after this race is coming to a conclusion. And we'll see if we can snag somebody else who wants to jump in. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at our remaining upcoming schedule here. For those of you, once again, if you enjoyed today's race, make sure to subscribe. Hit that big red subscribe button down underneath this video, and you'll get all of our upcoming races here for the US IndyCar League as we complete season 15. Just 3 more to go. Some classic facilities. Phoenix, that will be awesome. Michigan International Speedway coming up next. After that, wide open and high flying, and then of course everyone's favorite, get the Care Camp Indy 250 right here. It's always a special race. So once again, subscribe and like this video, and 10 o'clock Eastern time on Sundays, that is the time. Mark it on your schedule, put it in your Google Calendar, your Apple iCalendar, all the rest of that junk, and make sure that you never miss an upcoming race there. VirtualRacing.Network. So let's see if we can go ahead and see if we can make contact here with Graham Bunyan all the way across the world via the power of Discord. Hey Graham, you got the champagne, you sprayed the champagne and wiped it off, and now you have a chance to catch your breath. Heck of a run today. You didn't qualify on pole, but you only needed to take one position, and it seemed like you never looked back. Congratulations on taking victory here, round number 9.
Yeah, thanks, Trevor, and yeah, well done to everybody who finished the race. Tough race, cold tyres, no grip. Took about 5 laps and 6 laps of those front tyres actually grip up and start getting some speed out of the car.
And so that was what kind of we saw a couple of times in the race. We saw some drivers, they had fresh tires, and they weren't able to immediately go up and attack, but once 5-6 laps got through, the undercut took over, so to speak. The ability to have the fresher tires took over, and you were able to go up there and take that position. So what did you think all day today? Ryan Bowles was up there kind of racing pretty close. Looked like he might have had a chance at making a couple of passes, and then it got a little close there at the final stint. Were you feeling the pressure at all today? Was it difficult to just stay focused and stay up there in the front? What was your real race strategy like?
Race strategy was to do opposite to what everybody else did. Was everybody pitted, and I knew I had the pace to hopefully lap everybody before I needed to pit to bring me back out onto the lead lap, and still stay in that fuel pocket and just keep driving flat out. Yeah, Ryan was there, definitely there. I think I had him pretty well covered though. I sort of lifted off towards the end there because I really didn't want to cost myself anything by doing something stupid. But yeah, I had no choice. Fuel strategy, everybody pitted, and I think 4 of us or 3 of us stayed out, which meant we had to drive flat out. No more fuel strategy there.
Well, and then, so no more fuel strategy. Perhaps you can talk us through David Strid. Normally, your teammate who qualifies so well, kind of struggling today. It was his setup that he supplied. Did you catch any words over what was going on with Strid, or was today just not his day to be buddy-buddy with you hanging out at the front?
Yeah, no, look, I just think track position on qualifying is key. Just given that the tyres don't come into play for at least 5 or 6 laps, and within those 5 or 6 laps, if you haven't got a good run going and just a constant lap, then you're sort of going to get stuck at the back there. But he went for the undercut, I suppose, when he dropped into the pits there on the third last portion or whatever it was to top up to make it to lap 100, which was the key lap to make it to. And I think he was a lap short, maybe, but I know he was off the pace, so I still had that pace there to get back out after I pitted, back on the lead lap, and I think I would have been still in front by about 2 seconds, so the way I had it mapped out in my head anyway.
And so, as the race kind of played on, yellow flags becoming a factor, did that really play, I mean, did it throw a monkey wrench into what you were planning for your green flag stints, or did the yellows kind of play out in your favor today?
Look, I think, well, it's definitely played out in my favour. I won the race, but yeah, the ideal was just to get to lap 50, lap 100, and then 150, but that sort of, again, went out the window when I think the yellow was around about lap 70. And I chose to stay out. I pitted on the second yellow, I think it was, and stayed out on the third yellow. So yeah, it was from there. I say, it was the all-Q strategy was out the window, and just fuel map one and drive as hard as I could and try and lap as many cars as I could.
Well, and you did exactly that. And fortunately, lap traffic not playing too much of a role here today, and we're able to hold that lead without having to sacrifice it just to try to make extra room to get around lap cars. Nevertheless, it was a great run also for Ryan Bowles and for Dominic Hart, so we'll get a chance to interview them momentarily. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to before we move on?
Look, again, just everybody, and I just want to explain to what happened last weekend as well at Watkins Glen. Julian's a fast driver, and I have no issues with racing Julian. I would have took it to him if there was no championship points on the line, but because there's championship points on the line and it's not part of the championship, I chose to sit back and let him go. So, he took the win. Don't know what happened with the points there. There was something posted up about it, but I sort of didn't pay too much attention. That was the reason why I stepped back from there. If I had got into a wreck in a turn, potentially could have got somebody else tied up in that as well. So it had ramifications on championship points.
And certainly, and thank you for explaining that. Of course, in real life racing, this happens all the time, where you've got a driver in the championship, and you're in the front and you're racing for first or second, and you've got somebody else who manages to get up into the front and race for a race win, and you have to make that call. Do I go up there and potentially take myself out of the race and limit my chances on the championship, or do I just give that position up? And so, not uncommon to see, and obviously the same sort of themes happening here on iRacing, because just because it's virtual racing, that doesn't mean it's not real racing. We're out there doing exactly the same things the real life racers are, and all the same strategy head games that you have to do. Graham, you seem to know how to do all those games very, very well. You executed perfectly here today as well, so congratulations, and once again, look forward to most likely your 5th championship, but we'll see how that all works out here at the end of the season. Good luck, bud.
Yeah, no worries there. No, we'll see how it pans out, and congrats to everybody who showed up and finished today, and congrats to the podium again, Ryan for 2nd, Dominic in 3rd there, and David Strid and MJ. Well done to the top 5. Shout out to Richard Kelbaugh for always bringing stick foot to the plate, and yourself as well, bringing it every weekend. Well, what can I say? I got home 3 hours ago. I've done the race, and now I've got to go to bed and get up in another hour and a half.
Oh
and
my
go to work.
goodness. The wildlife of Graham Bunyan, who helps us out by coming out and putting on a heck of a show here, but then goes and helps others with the healthcare community and helping those who are affected to feel more comfortable. Hey, Graham, you're a heck of a guy and a heck of a racer. We'll see you next week, man.
No worries, thank you, and congrats to everybody. Well done. And thanks to David for the setup, and everyone else that helps.
He's so thankful to everybody. That's Graham Bunyan. Mr. Thankful this week, but he, when he's in the cockpit, he puts his head down and he just gets the job done, as you saw here this week. No problem from the very beginning, making that challenge on Hart at the very outset of the race and not giving up until the very end. Keeping the head down every single lap, getting the car to drift out the right way so that it doesn't spin. Now let's talk to a couple of other drivers who made it onto the podium. We'll start with second place, Ryan Bowles, who had a heck of a race today. Hey, Ryan, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Man, what a heck of a run. You look competitive from the very get-go. And, of course, we're so excited to get you back in here because you've already won a race this season. You've been sitting up in the top of the points. I know you've got a busy summer family schedule thing going, but, man, you look super competitive today. How was your race?
I had a good practice. I got in a little bit early and felt really good and fast in practice. And then we had a pretty decent qualification, and then it was kind of getting that rhythm, because there was kind of a fine line between when you could accelerate and not hit the wall. Mm-hmm. And I made a couple of mistakes a couple times, and Dominic almost passed me, but it was just really staying consistent.
And that consistency is prime, paramount. I mean, that's exactly what we saw catch out Jason Lowe, we saw catch out Dean Ensch, and probably numerous others that we just didn't get a camera on. But that exit off of turn 2 and turn 4, it seemed like choosing the right time to get that acceleration and exactly what trajectory, how tight you wanted your turning radius to be, or if you wanted to let it drift out. Did that almost catch you out today? Did you find yourself kind of straddling that line where the car wanted to swap ends?
No, I didn't have any problems with the car, unless right after.
Or holding, most likely due to a family thing that came up that you needed to deal with.
No, I got a photo.
Oh, okay. Got friends sending you messages, etc. Okay, I gotcha. So, yeah, I mean, just talk me through the rest of your race here today. You had yellow flags that happened. Was there a chance when you got brand new tires, you thought maybe you'll have a chance and take a shot at Graham, or did it just seem like no matter what you did, you had the answer?
I kind of wish I had a few more laps. I was kind of gaining on him at the end there.
It did look like that.
But it could have been him slowing down. I have no idea.
We never really know with Graham whether he's playing games or not, but nevertheless, no, you did have the pace today. You qualified in third. You managed to finish in second. I mean, anytime that you do that, you finish better than you qualify, you got to feel great. But second place, hey, Ryan, you're looking like you're in championship contention. I think you've got a solid chance, obviously, of keeping top 5 in the championship headed forward if you can make most of the rest of the races. But certainly, you may even have a chance at a top 3. That's got to feel pretty good.
It would, but I won't be here.
Oh, that's too bad. Well,
I know.
My
daughter's getting baptized, and I gotta go to church. So.
And this is what I'm talking about. Real life happening, and it's summer anyway. The kids are out of school. You've got so much to do. But it's so blessed to have you here, Ryan, because your capabilities are quite excellent here in the league, and you bring it every single week that you're here. So congratulations on a podium. Congratulations on your daughter being baptized next week, and we'll look forward to seeing you for hopefully the last 2 races this season.
Yeah, I should be there.
Any shout outs before we move on?
Yeah, all my teammates, Mike West, Graham, David, Lee Trevor's doing a great job. Dominic is good racing with you. So, and my wife let me do this.
Absolutely. Great people to thank, and obviously got to get the wife in there as well. She lets you do it, and my girlfriend lets me do this, and so I should always thank her every week. Anyone else who isn't asking for my attention. But nevertheless, Ryan, congratulations. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, and enjoy next week, man.
Yeah, thanks.
So that's Ryan Bowles. He made it to second. He had a chance at first. I'll tell you another driver out there who was in first that I'd love to talk to here, and that is Dominic Hart. He started on pole position. It looked like it could have been his week. Dominic joining us here at VirtualRacing.Network post-race coverage. And Dominic, tell us about that start. Did you expect that Graham was going to make an immediate move there on the start, or did you think that he might kind of sit back and wait for the tires? Either way, what was your defense like, and how did the rest of the race play out?
Yeah, I missed the start, to be honest. I went a bit late, so Graham had the chance to be alongside of me. And when you're on the outside of here, you're going to drift up from the inside, and I wasn't going to, even though we did have a chat in race and there wasn't enough room, I wasn't going to drift up and put him into the wall. I'm not in the championship really, and I'm not going to take out him out of it, so I just decided to sit back then and let him go and then just sit there.
Well, and yeah, that wouldn't look good if you're trying to race super hard from the first 5 laps of the race. It's like out front of the field. But nevertheless, I mean, we're both part of iRacing, and we've been in plenty of picks and other races where that's exactly what happened. So, tell us about that, because look, you ended up in third. Now, if you had made some sort of, you get caught up in the red mist, you're on pole position. I don't want to get passed. I'm not going to let Graham get by. I'm going to defend this one to the death. If you go up there and make contact with him and you end up in the pits, there's no way you end up in third, right? You got to take damage repair. You go a lap down or a couple of laps down. There's no way you even get a podium position or a chance at a victory at the end. So discretion, the better part of valor, and avoiding those early incidents kind of giving you that opportunity, right?
Yeah, I mean, I surprised myself being in the position that I was in at the start. I hadn't done that time at any point during any of the practice or anything. I think Graham was probably the quickest out of us during practice. So I still don't know where that time came from, because it was quite a bit faster than what I've done. Yeah, it was better just to sort of leave it, let Graham go in front, and then just take the line I wanted to. I then lost out to Ryan. I almost turned it on at the exit of turn 2 when Ryan got past me. But fortunately I held on to that and then held on to third.
And so, as you mentioned, difficult to hold on. Did you find that it was difficult on exit? A couple of drivers, including Ryan, complaining about that. Was your line, did you want to take a tighter line and the car didn't give it to you? Did you find that holding the low line was too difficult today? Or did you, was it different for you? How did you feel like the car raced?
No, after that I didn't have any other issues. It just seemed to be that one where I sort of the back end tried to come round, and that gave Brian the chance to go past. Fortunately I was able to keep it and keep going. But after that I actually preferred the high line. I did that in practice. It just gave me better drive off the corner. You could do the low line, and it was, in theory, I guess, quicker. But you tended to drift straight up the track, which I don't like doing.
Well, nevertheless, again, holding on to third and getting another podium position here in US IndyCar League, quickly making a great name for yourself as a competitor who can take pole position, get podium positions, and definitely in position. We're going to have Indy coming up here in a couple of weeks, and that was your debut here just a couple of seasons ago, snatching victory here on VirtualRacing.Network in your debut. That was pretty exciting stuff. Got that coming up, but hey, here's an even bigger question. You've got Tag Hour there as your sponsor. Do you have a Tag Hour watch?
No, I've got an Amiga actually. I wouldn't mind Tag Hour actually as well.
Oh, well there you go. Yes, connoisseur of watches. So I guess what you're saying is you're available for business inquiry should someone from marketing of Tag Hour be watching and want to possibly give you a watch. You might be available for that.
Hey, I would certainly not say that.
Well, there you go. We'll see if the future growth of Dominic Hart and the U.S. IndyCar League, soon to be the International IndyCar League, can continue to bring some new opportunities to all of us. But either way, congratulations, great racing, and will you be here for the final race?
Yeah, I will be. Unfortunately, last week I missed. I had a family emergency. I had to fly home short notice, so unfortunately I couldn't be here last week. Yeah, I should, all being well, I will be here for the remainder of the season.
Well, fantastic. We will definitely look forward to that. We've got 3 very different circuits coming up, totally different than what we had here in New Hampshire. But the last 5 races are completely different circuit layout. So it just tells you some of this variety here in the schedule. But Phoenix Raceway, Michigan, Indy, again, there's one that you would probably want to look at. It's that Air Camp Indy 250 at the end. Hey, we're going to let you go, Dominic. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to before we move on with the end of this broadcast?
No, just stick quick for the sponsor, obviously for the Podium, Graham, Ryan, David and MJ, and of course yourself for the podcast.
Well, absolutely my pleasure, and thank you so much, and congratulations again on your podium, and good luck with the rest of the season. So that is Dominic Hart joining us from that 3rd position. This has been race number 9 of 12. There's 3 more remaining to decide the championship for season 15. This was New Hampshire, Loudon, as it's known, and Graham Bunyan, congratulations on victory. 2nd place to Ryan Bowles, Dominic Hart in 3rd. You've been watching VirtualRacing.Network. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and this has been Copyright 2022. Please don't steal all of this footage unless you want to share it and get us all a bunch of views. Please don't do that. Please don't spread this video by sharing it all over the internet and letting more people subscribe to our network. That would be horrible. Anyway, continuing on, next race, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, next Sunday. Be here for Phoenix. I'll be here. And on behalf of everybody here in the United States IndyCar League, have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye, everybody.